Welcome to the webinar on 10 things you must know about mandatory reporting. Number 1, you are a mandated reporter. Anyone who works for the district should keep their eyes and ears open to protect our children. Reporting suspected abuse is part of your job. Not reporting suspected child abuse can create a liability for your district and for yourself, as our primary goal is to keep our students safe. Number 2, what is reportable? If you reasonably suspect any of the following, you must report it. This would include child abuse, neglect, physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual activity between a minor and an adult, unjustified punishment, unlawful corporal punishment, willful cruelty. Now, in discussing what is reportable, the question of rumors often comes up. If you're unsure, it's better to err on the side of caution. Go ahead and report it. This will allow the agency to investigate and make that final conclusion. Number 3, when and where do I report? The answer to that is immediately or as soon as possible. There are 2 actions required when you are going to report. The first is by phone. You must report to the Child Protective Services in your area or to your local police or sheriff. Either or is required by law. To be safe, report it to both agencies. You cannot get in trouble for over-reporting. Please note that when we say report by phone to your local police, this does not include school police. This is your local police or sheriff's department. Second action required as a mandated reporter is that you follow up this phone call with a written report within 36 hours, and you have to send it to the same agency that you contacted by phone. Send it in by fax or by email. Remember, telling your supervisor does not satisfy your obligation to report. You are obligated to report in 2 actions. First, by phone to the Child Protective Services or your local police. And secondly, you have to follow up that phone call with a written report within 36 hours to be sent by email or by fax. Number 4, where do I find this report? The report is also known as Form 8572, also known as a SCAR report. SCAR stands for Suspected Child Abuse Report. This report can be found on the district's website or on the CPS website. CPS stands for Child Protective Services. Things you will need to fill into the report will be your name, the child's name, the current location of the child, what school, what grade, who were the involved parties, what happened, and why the concern. As a best practice, it's recommended that you keep a record of the date, the time, and the person you spoke with when you were filing and filling out your report. Number 5, can I share this report with others? This report can only be given to the agency that you called the report into. So police or sheriff's department, not your school police, or Child Protective Services. You may also give the report to designated district personnel, such as the superintendent, the assistant superintendent, the Human Resources Administrator for the district. A word of caution, do not give the report to others without consulting legal counsel because you may lose your immunity. Number 6, your protection. As a mandated reporter, you have protection through confidentiality and immunity. Under confidentiality, your identity will be kept confidential. Know that if the case is criminally prosecuted, your identity most likely will be disclosed. You also have immunity. Mandated reporters have immunity under California law from civil and criminal liability for reporting suspected child abuse. Number 7, what if I choose not to report? A mandated reporter who knowingly and willfully fails to report is guilty of a misdemeanor, punishable by up to 6 months in jail, a fine of $1,000, or both. Other possible implications of not reporting would be a loss of your license or your credential, a civil lawsuit, and your loss of your job. Number 8, remember, you signed a statement. All new hires are required to sign a statement that they have knowledge of their mandatory reporting requirements. Your signed document is in your personnel file. This document states that you know that reporting suspected child abuse is part of your job, and you know it's your obligation to report any misconduct or child abuse. Number 9, our goal. Your job is to ensure the safety and the well-being of our students. Under California law, child abuse is a crime. Children need protection because they are vulnerable and often unable to speak for themselves. You are a mandated reporter. You are the eyes and the ears of this district. If you see it, if you suspect it, you must report it. Number 10, here are some additional resources to get more information on being a mandated reporter. There are a variety of resources for you on the California Department of Social Services website. There's information on Child Abuse and Neglect Reporting Act. This is also known as CANRA, this act. The California Child Abuse and Neglect Reporting Law has a website, Issues and Answers for mandated reporters. Ultimately, you have to remember it is your obligation to not ignore child abuse and misconduct. Report it to the proper authorities. Thank you for your attention on this very important topic.